Susan here from DIYDork.com. Today I want to show you how I built my really simple little work table. Now I kept the design really easy to build. I kept it fairly lightweight so that you can carry around by yourself, but it's heavy duty enough to do some real work on it. It's on casters so it rolls smooth, and it even has a removable top which comes in really handy. So anyway, check this out. Like I said, it's easy to build and it's really awesome. Alright, so here's what I'm using to build my little work table here. It's a little bit of old and a little bit of new. And the old over here is some leftover 1x6s I had in the basement from when we redid our house. They were actually using these as flooring. They are 4 feet long, so I'm also going to chop down this 3/4 inch thick piece of plywood to 4 feet long. Then I'm going to join them all together and make a tabletop for this. And it'll be removable, and then the base will be a completely separate piece. The base I'm using new 2x3s. That way it'll be sturdy but still lightweight. The idea of this table is that it'll be small enough that I can roll it through the house, because I'm going to put it on casters, so I can roll it through the house. It's not going to mess up the floors, and it'll be narrow enough that I can roll through the doorways and then put the top back on and work on it. And I also wanted it to be lightweight enough that I could pick it up and carry it upstairs or take it outside all by myself, so that's why I'm using the 2x3s, just to shave a little bit of weight. And the table isn't supposed to be like super heavy duty. I'm not going to sit there and just bam, bam, bam with a sledgehammer on top of it, but it'll be heavy duty enough for most of the projects I do. So anyway, it should turn out pretty cool and it'll be nice and useful. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you may have noticed that sometimes I'm working on the floor, even like right here I'm outside just working on the ground, and I'm getting kind of tired of it. It's kind of killing my back, so it's time to build a work table. So I think this would be a cool little project, and it could be adapted for all kinds of things. And like I said, this is going to be kind of a light to medium duty table. It's not going to sit there and wobble, but it's not going to be like so heavy that I can't move it either. So sure turned out pretty cool, so I'll get started on it. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking my measurements that I've already pre-planned and go through, and I'm going to mark them all, chop them down with the saw. Once they're all chopped, I want to go through and sand all the printing off the boards, because I don't want to see that. So I'll do all that next. Okay, so I have everything chopped and sanded, and it's freezing outside, so I brought everything indoors to do a little more finish work before I actually start putting the base of this table together. Now real quick, I want you to imagine that my old work towel here is the tabletop and it's upside down, okay? So we're looking at the frame upside down, at least the top part of the frame. Alright, so over here I have my long side aprons. Here I have my shorter end aprons. And then these little stubs here are acting like my legs. You know, I mean, they're going to be much longer. But just so you can kind of see how this is going to work. Alright, so you can kind of see the joint, how it works. Got my short ones here, long ones here. And when you look at it straight on, there's no, you know, nothing sticking out or anything crazy like that. It's just a nice, simple line. I'm going to join it with my little Kreg Jig. I don't think I've ever used this in any of my other videos, so I'm going to kind of show you how it works if you've never used one. It's a pretty cool system. Alright, so my little Kreg tool actually allows me to make a butt joint like this look a lot cleaner and put together from the inside. So there's no screws from the outside, so it just looks nice and fresh. And what it does is it produces pocket holes. Now here's what the pocket holes look like, okay? And you get these little screws here, and they slide in. There's a little hole in there, and when you drill through, that little round head will slide right in there. You'll never see it, and then it pokes out the end, and it holds your pieces nice and strong. So it'll kind of look like that. Okay, so it's hidden on the inside. You'll never see screws from the outside. Now I'll probably also add some glue to my joint before I put it together, just to make it a little bit stronger. But how it works is it comes with this little drill guide here. All right, so take your wood. It has a little slider here, this gray thing. It slides. You can adjust it for depending on how thick your wood is, since mine's 1.5 inches thick. I have it set to the 1.5 inch setting. Alright, so then it clamps on, and then you get this special little drill bit. Now it has a sliding collar that also slides depending on how thick your wood is. So I have it set to the 1.5" setting, and it just fits right in there, and then you're able to drill, and what it does is it drills at an angle just like that, and that's what produces this hole. And it's a pretty strong little joint. Like I said, I'll add glue to make it a little stronger. So I'll go ahead and show you it in use, and it's really simple. I'm basically going to assemble the entire table with this, and the ends of all my boards are going to get drilled with 2 pocket holes like this. Basically the only boards that will not get these are my legs that will be going up, because everything is going to be joining into the legs. Alright, so I'll get started and I'll show you how it works. It's pretty cool. And there we go, 2 pocket holes, real simple. Now what I'm gonna do is finish drilling the rest of these, and then you can kind of see there's a little bit of frayedness going on here. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. Sounds good. But anyway, I'm gonna sand this, but before I do it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and spray this and sand it just to get a cool finish, so it's not just raw wood, but you'll see that later. So I'll finish doing these and then I'll do that next. Alright, now that all my pocket holes are drilled, I want to go through and finish all my wood before I assemble the table base. Now I don't want it to just be raw wood, I don't want to do a stain, I want to do a really cool distressed paint job. So I'm going to take my metallic silver paint and I'm going to do a really bad spray job on the board. So it just mostly covers it, but not, you know, perfect. Then I'm going to take my sander and sand it. What's going to happen is all the really cool rough spots like this where there's tons of texture are really going to pop out and give this thing some life. It's just going to have a really cool industrial look. So I'll do that and then I'll start putting this thing together. Alright, so now all my pieces are sanded. After I painted them, I wiped them down, although I should probably wipe them down better with a damp cloth. They're still leaving some residue on my fingers. But anyway, I'm about ready to assemble. So this is my leg, this is my side apron, my long side apron. So first thing I'm going to do is add a little glue in here. It's for extra strength. Alright, then when I put them together, I'm going to take my clamp and clamp it so it doesn't move on me, keep it from wiggling around. Then I can drop in my little screw into the pocket hole. And then the Kreg kit comes with this long, I think it's a 6-inch driver, has a little screw head on there because that's what these are. They have screw drives on them, and screw it together. So that would be one leg attached to the long side apron. Then I will put the other leg on the other side, so I have sort of an upside down H without the little stick on top. So basically one side. Then I'll make the other side to match. So I have 2 mirror sides. Then I can go through with my end aprons and screw these on like that. Same thing. Glue them, screw them on. So anyway, I'll just show you on video. It'd probably make a little more sense if I just show it to you. There we go. Got one little leg attached, and now I just got to do all the others. Alright, so now I have all 4 legs attached to the long side aprons. So now I just got to do the same thing with the end aprons. So they just go in, attaches both sides together like that. They screw in. Then I put one more over there. Then I can flip this table base back right side up and finish putting the last aprons in. Alright, so now my shorter end aprons are screwed on, so I flip the table back to the way it should be, right side up. And now, before I add my lower cross aprons here, I actually need to add these little short blocks that I cut. I think I made them at 3.5 inches. They're going to be flush with the bottom of the legs, and then my lower aprons will actually just sit right on top. Now the reason I'm adding these is because I'm actually going to put the whole table on these casters, and this base right here is too big to just fit on the 2x3, so it fits widthwise, but then as you can see I need something a little wider. So that way if we act like this is my leg and I double it up, it's a really nice fit then. Alright, and then I have plenty of room, plenty of support to screw the casters on. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Super simple. I'm just going to add a little glue, put them on, and then I'm just going to screw them in with some regular 2.5 inch screws just to drive them in, hold them tight. Then I can go ahead and put these in with the pocket holes like I was going to earlier, just like that. Alright, now that those lower end aprons are screwed on, the last thing I'm going to do is put on my stretcher board. I'm just putting a single one here centered right in the middle just to keep it lightweight, but if I wanted to, I could use that little short piece down there to my advantage and rest my stretcher board there, and then put another one on this side, and then instead of using my pocket holes, just put a couple of screws going that way to hold into that board, and it'd be a perfect place for a shelf. But because I want to keep mine lightweight and I don't really want a shelf now, I'm just going to put one here in the center. And I could also even just have like a half shelf and keep my center stretcher here, and then maybe eventually put another one, have, you know, a shelf that's half the width. But for now, I'll just go with this one. So I'll glue and screw it in, then I'll put on the casters. Right, so now my stretcher board is screwed in, so I flipped it upside down one more time. Now I'm putting on the casters. Real simple. All you gotta do is drop in 4 screws and they are down tight. Alright, so I'll put the other 2 on, I'll flip this over, show you what it looks like, and then I will get started on the tabletop. Alright, and there we go. Got the frame all built. And I got a little ahead of myself a while ago, and I forgot to mention that I put in 2 tabletop supports right here in the middle, just to help keep it strong so that the tabletop doesn't start to bow in the center. So anyway, now it's all ready to go, and I'll probably go ahead and wipe it down with a damp cloth just to get rid of the little bit of dust that remains on it. And I'm losing my light, so I'll probably have to wait till tomorrow to work on the tabletop, but I will be doing that next.